Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters and welcome to my craft room. Today we're going to make this card. It's an 8x8 card and it's in the style of a bendy card, but rather than the layers here at the front being just bending, I'm actually scoring them. And I love this style of card. It's a real layered front card, and that's what I'm going to call it. So this card is for my daughter. It's a wedding card, and I have some products in my stash that I'm going to be using to make this card. Now, some of them I have links to down below, but some I don't. So check the description out to see the products that I used. The paper pad that I'm using is this one. It's by Sustrine Green, and I got it about 2.5–3 years ago, so I won't have links for this, but I loved it because of the foiling on the papers. I'm using this Simply Made Crafts Love and Laughter stamp set, as well as the fabulous Fizz stamp and die set. Now this I got free with a magazine, and I can't remember which one, but it was this year 2021 that I got it. So if I can find a link to that, I'll pop it down below. I'm also going to be using the Bright Rosa Heart Bands die set, and I love this die set. You get all these hearts that die cut out, and some of them will actually cut into your cardstock and leave like a latticed heart behind, and some will cut out the latticed heart. So I'll be using them on the card. I have these Love from Lizi Alphabet letters, as well as these numbers. One set, the one in blue here, is from AliExpress, and the other one is a Tonic Studio one, and I just need the little RD there. I know they have a name, but I don't know what they are. I'm going to use the die On Your from this Crafter's Companion Simplistic Sentiment set, and I'm going to use the November from this Card Making Magic Landmark Occasions die set. So that's all the products that I'll use, and now let's go ahead and make our card. So this piece of white cardstock measures 8x8, and this is our card base. I'm scoring it at 4. And then on top of that, we're going to put some pattern papers. Now I'm not putting a mat behind it, I'm just using the white and then the pattern papers. So you'll need 4 of these patterned papers, and they measure 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. I've then 2 white pieces of card that measure 3 1/4 by 7 1/4, and they will sit on the back of our card base. You can see there where I die cut out the latticed heart, and the gold one, that piece die cut out, so I was able to die cut out the heart in gold and then sit it in to my white cardstock. Now we have our stepped layers for our card. This piece measures 7 by 7, and I've scored it at 1/2, 3 1/2 and 6 1/2. On top of that, then we want to put 2 pieces of pattern paper, and these measure 3 3/4 by 6 3/4. Then we have our middle step layer, and for that we need a white piece measuring 8 by 5 1/2, and I'm scoring it at 1/2, 4 and 7 1/2. On that we have some pattern paper, and these two measure 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then we have our front step layer. This white piece measures 9 by 3 1/2, and I'm scoring it at 1/2, 4 1/2 and 8 1/2. Our 2 pieces of pattern paper measure 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And then we also have a mechanism piece for our large heart to sit on. This piece measures 5 by 1 inch, and I'm scoring it at 1/2, 1 1/2, 3 1/2 and 4 1/2. And this is my large heart. So I have 2 layers on here, and it is going to be propped up by our very front step layer there. And I think that's going to look lovely. I needed my heart to be big enough to put my Alicia and Yen's on, so hence the reason I went with such a big heart. I've also die cut out some of the smaller hearts, some of the numbers, some of the latticed hearts, my November word, my RD There's a name for that, I just can't think of it. And they're all the pieces that I'm going to add to the front of our card. So let's go ahead now, speed everything up and glue everything down. So I have my card base here and I've burnished the score line on that, and I'm going to use my Collal glue to glue down my pattern paper. When the Collal glue sets, it dries nice and hard. It's stiff when it dries. It doesn't leave any residue where it might have leaked out or oozed out a little bit, and I really like this for construction. I find that it gives great strength to a project. So I'll add these pieces onto the back now as well, and you can see where I have stamped my sentiments as well as the confetti and my glasses, and I love the imagery on the back of this. There is some room to write a message. I'm going to write a little note and I'm going to put that separate. So you can see there the confetti stamps came from the Fabulous Fizz stamp sets. So I want to just fill in the glasses so that they look like they have some sparkling champagne in there. And the glass, I'm going to very faintly go over it in a light blue pencil just to give the illusion of glass. And that's all the colouring I had to do. Such a bonus. So now let's work on our steps or our layers on the front of our card. So I'm going to put my pattern paper onto this white piece of card first, and then once I have that done, I will fold and burnish the score lines, and that way then I can put the liquid glue on the tabs on the right and left. Now you could use a double-sided tape adhesive there if you wanted. I just like using the liquid glue because I find it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Now for this one I'm going to use my Cosmic Shimmer glue. I just want it as a quick grab, and you can see there I'm lining up the middle score line on this piece with my base card. Once I have them lined up, then I glue down the tabs. I want to make sure it's all lined up, and you can see there our score lines are lined up. I have my center step now, and I'm adding some liquid glue to our side tabs. Then I'm going to lay this down. Again, I'm focusing on my score lines there on the center. Then I put down where I have it glued, and then we'll go again with our front step panel. So put my liquid glue on, focus on my score lines in the middle, and then tuck my little tabs underneath and apply a bit of pressure. And there we go. That is the base of our card. That's it. It's just a matter now of embellishing. So before I stick down my other hearts and my large Alicia and Yen's heart, I want to look at how I'm going to place everything down and decide which layer I want my mechanism piece to be on. I wasn't sure whether I would sit the mechanism piece on the middle step layer, and that way my heart then, you know, the Alicia and Yen's would pop up from that, but allowing for the front step, I decided I was going to put it there. So this is our mechanism piece. We want to fold it into a valley, a mountain, and a valley. The two little legs or tabs at the back, they're going to get glued on directly over our score line. So I'll add a little bit of liquid glue on our tabs, and then those two tabs will sit either side of the score line. So I'll add a little pressure there until they are glued down, and I'm happy with that. And then once they are glued down, I can then lift it up. So I've placed my heart more or less where I want it. I'm going to decide now where I'm going to stick everything else down. So I'm going to put down my Alicia and Yen's heart. That way then that's in place and I can work around that. So my numbers, the 23rd, I have them on some foam tape at the back of those, so it'll give a little bit of dimension. Then I will glue down the RD, and I'll use some liquid glue to glue those down. And I'll put them there just beside the 3. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue to glue down my November. And Again, I'm using the Cosmic Shimmer glue, the quick grab glue, and I'm going to put that at a jaunty angle just so it fits in there nicely. And I put a block on it just to add a little bit of weight. Now we can add our hearts. I was going to put the two on your special day up there at the top, but I'm going to put one to the right and one to the left. And once I put a little bit of glue to the bottom of this heart, I can stick it down in place. And you want to keep looking at the card, opening and closing it to make sure that whatever you're putting on the different layers is going to sit nicely, whether the card is flat in its closed position or whether it's open, you know, so it's all pushed out. So I'm happy with those two there now. I'm just going to use my two white like filigree hearts or cutout hearts, and I'm going to put them on this one here to the left on the middle layer, and then this one here to the right on the top layer. So I feel each layer of my wedding cake has an embellishment or something on it. And there you go, there is our layered 8x8 wedding card, and isn't it beautiful? I'm delighted with it. If you've liked my video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing, and if not, you might click on the bell icon down below. That way you'll be notified each time I put a new video up on my channel. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and until next time, here's a little video showing you the card that we've made today. Until next time, folks, stay safe and bye for now.